so much. I am calling you and talking to you live from the Metaverse. And hey, everyone, I'm so excited to be here. And this is such a fabulous and fantastic audience. Yeah, this is real me. This is real me. This is my avatar. I can change it to be this, or I can change it to be this, or I can just be a normal person. But the reason I have chose this to be like this, because this let me join straight from the Metaverse. Display pictures, they are so common. And so is common by communicating via emojis. But in future, in Metaverse, and this is just to showcase your vision, in future, avatars will become a form of self-expression. This avatar, which you're seeing live right now, is giving me the flexibility on the way, and I can be comfortable, and you can be comfortable as well, being on the camera all day, but actually not being on the camera all day. And even if you join or not join on the camera, it just feels natural, right? Right now, you need to have a camera on to have your avatar displayed, but there are different technologies as done with the Horizon from Facebook as well, where your avatar can really represent and can do the lip reading based upon exactly what you are talking about and can figure it out. So I can have a face-to-face conversation with all of you. We can learn and collaborate. And well, this is just an early example. And let's dig into a bit more details. So Dario, if I may share my screen. And okay. Please give me a quick thumbs up if you all can see my screen. I hope that's possible.
That's possible. You have the button right to the microphone, so you just press on share screen and then we should be able to see it.
That is exactly what I did. I'm sorry, it's saying the screens and the window as well. When I click on share, for some reason, nothing happens.
Corporate blocking.
Oh yeah, that could be. Okay, should I rejoin or should I just go ahead without the presentation?
You can go ahead without the presentation.
Okay, all right. So, well, it would be great if the presentation was there because there's a lot of visuals that I really wanted you to come and see. Let me still see and give it one more shot. Hopefully that works. No, looks it just refuses. All right. So let's go ahead without that, right? So if you look at the entire spectrum, right, you have three things. So one is augmented reality. And augmented reality is actually all about how can you go ahead and overlay something digital as a content over a real one, right? It does one thing very best. For example, augmented reality in the extreme left hand of the spectrum is all about, imagine your backup camera of the car. So when you do the reverse, it does one thing and does one thing very well. So basically it projects and it possibly complements on what you're seeing around it. While if you look on the extreme right hand of the spectrum, you get virtual reality. And virtual reality is basically all about, it completely occludes your vision. So you are really wearing a headset on top of your face and that occludes your natural vision. But hey, there's a lot of simulation that you can possibly look and see, and that is one of the key things around it. But in between of those two spectrums lies the new enterprise metaverse, or something that we are seeing a lot is a lot from a perspective of mixed reality. So mixed reality is all about where you mix the digital content on top of your work, and it responds with the spatial awareness, and you can do a lot of multitasking as well. For example, imagine you're driving a car and you're seeing a heads-up display, right? So the heads-up display is figuring out how far the car is in front of you and where you are, and then it kind of projects the entire vision accordingly. Or imagine the VR could be like the center screen of a Tesla where you can't see anything, but all you have to see is on the center screen of the Tesla itself. And the definition of the metaverse are different. So if you talk to different people, different companies, you'll get different definitions of metaverse. And hey, all the views I'm saying out here are very, very personal, not of the employer. But let me give you a perspective. So if you speak to Facebook and if you do some research, the Facebook describes metaverse as the digital first world where people can socialize, work, and play. While if you go and look at the definitions from Microsoft, they are talking about metaverse as a digital space which is inhabited by digital representation of people, place, and things. I really wish you could have seen my screen right now with some amazing visual, fantastic one. For example, on my screen, we have Mark Zuckerberg. He is fencing in a hologram with himself, right? So you can really fence with a real hologram in a real environment. So basically, you're seeing a transparent, and then things are projecting on top of it, but it's responding to your spatial awareness. That's mixed reality. Or you can be in a completely simulated environment where everybody of you is in a completely digital first or a virtual world where you are just seeing people's avatar and you're talking to people around that. Basically, the idea of metaverse is it wants to make the virtual lives more seamlessly integrated with the real ones. And right there with people, no matter how far you are, the idea will be to express yourself in joyful, completely immersive ways. On my screen again, there is a beautiful image of a spatial audio. It means if you are in a digital environment and you're talking to 3 different holograms, based upon where you are turning your face around, you will actually know that who is talking from where. So you have a perfect spatial awareness. And all these things are not a vision, not a fantasy, but these things are available live and ready. Well, the way I define metaverse is basically devices plus a combination of emerging technology. So your devices lets you have AR, mixed reality or MR, or the Microsoft HoloLens, or VR, which is virtual reality. So one is the entire spectrum of extended reality. And this is what I personally call extended reality. And that when combines with blockchain, crypto, decentralized finance, AI, 5G, and IoT, that will really make it a true metaverse. And actually, we are a couple of years out because currently the entire industry is very much dependent on the key devices. And these key devices are actually right now being given by Microsoft and Facebook's. And there are various amazing companies like HTC and Hive and Avatar. And there's a lot of other companies which are into this space. But currently, the metaverse is very much dependent on the overall devices spectrum and the technology. But don't get me wrong, human presence, not digital simulation, is about the real ultimate connection. And that's what we want to talk about it. But you might be thinking, well, this is all fancy and fine. How does it refers to the healthcare world? And how does it really understands and correlates with what you are doing in healthcare or pharma? Let me give examples. So Scottish dental students were forced to repeat a year last year because of COVID, right? And the reason for that was because the Scotland's dental school said that the students had not been able to gain sufficient clinical experience of the aerosol generating procedures. And, repeating a school is a very tough decision. But imagine such trainings can be really enabled by the real life simulation right where you are in a virtual setting, but it doesn't feel virtual. It really feels real. And Microsoft has a good vision that I have seen a lot on the enterprise side of it, because you can now collaborate with Microsoft Teams, and they have a whole suite of platforms which lets and allows you to possibly go and do that. For example, imagine making a presentation in a PowerPoint as easy as making a presentation and making a hologram. So those things are enabled live right now. So those things are enabled right now. There is currently right now technologies called Microsoft Guides. This works with Azure on the cloud, which lets you create all those simulations and all those holographic presentations live. And that helps you really make your virtual guides in a very, very easy way. Again, I just wish, and let me try again if I can share my screen. And if that comes, it was working in the test, but sorry about it. But basically, and I'll send you this deck as well, so you can also look at it with all the animations and all the presentations. So there's a lot of work happening. So there's a company called The Real Systems. And if you go to their website, there's a lot of work happening on the shoulder ROM and flexation. So basically how you can do your core balance. For example, postural control and stability and a core strengthening and balance. How can you do your wrist and forearm exercises, your endurance and strengthening? So that is where you wear a headset, and somebody who is challenging with a lot of vibrations can really help and do those exercises right after the surgery. So there's a lot of amazing use cases which possibly is happening around there. There are a few more things before I end this in terms of what is happening on the healthcare world as well, and I'll give you tons of examples, right? And again, these are all the industry examples which different companies are doing, and these are outstanding. There's a lot of examples where we're involved with. For example, there's a lot of work happening on training, different and doing the new onboarding and compliance, teaching and learning, removing phobias of from a perspective of fear of height, right? Or it could be a lot to do with different therapy areas. Also, a lot of companies are right now using the metaverse to enable public speaking. People who have a phobia of speaking in the public, how you can possibly go and do that on the metaverse side of it. In fact, a recent study from the Harvard Business Review, it showed that the VR-trained surgeons had a 230% boost in the overall performance compared to a traditionally trained surgeons as well. The former were also faster, more accurate in performing the surgical procedures, which is just outstanding and phenomenal. So what are the key metrics that you can look at into the healthcare and the pharma world? So you can definitely increase the time spent on ethical scientific education. You can definitely increase the equipment uptime if you're into medical devices. A lot of work could be done in onboarding and compliance, your factory visit, your site visit, even when you are remote. A lot of work on access to care. It can increase that, and a lot of collaboration matrix and engagement matrix. It gives a clear direction on where those could be increased. Where it gets decreased, right? So you can decrease your travel spend a lot. It's been proven across the industry, and decrease the cost to access. So such remote technologies and the future of telehealth will further decrease the cost to access. But what more healthcare use cases I know that you're creating for? So remote troubleshooting, remote detailing. Imagine a remote detailing in a completely simulated environment. And I'll send you this deck where you can see all the animations of how there are different examples and use cases that find by different amazing companies and what is happening around that. You can do gamification-led habit change specifically for the key therapy areas. The conferences could be personalized, and the doctors can actually join in where people can really feel that they are there without turning on cameras, but actually physical presence with you. And then you can demonstrate things in a more 3D way of it, in a more immersive way, rather than just showing a 2D PowerPoint presentation. You can also work on case replays and remote clinical assist. There is a lot of examples happening right now on clinical education, on equipment installation, which lets to a lot of effective understanding in terms of what VR could do. So also think of it that in your personal space, what you can do in terms of personal training and having a fitness with groups, right from some machines in your home. Now think about those people who cannot go out, right? So yes, there would be some people who love to go out, and that's absolutely the right thing to do as well. But there are some people who are just stuck at home for some reason. It could be because of some medical condition or because of some family scenarios, and still they can feel a part of a group and a community, which augments this entire perspective around you. So in summary, imagine those three spectrums: the AR, the VR, and the mixed reality. And all of these three basically are the devices category which enables the metaverse. The true metaverse is basically when these devices converge with blockchain, AI, 5G, IoT. That literally forms it a possibly true metaverse. Look at the technologies available right now. For example, Microsoft has tons of technology which supports the Microsoft HoloLens, which lets you create the PowerPoints and presentation on the go. Look at what Facebook is doing from Horizon Workspaces. I highly recommend you to look at the Real System and different other companies, also VR, who are doing a lot of work on this entire metaverse space as well. And understand that you can't just not increase the ethical time spent on scientific education, but also there's a huge opportunity to decrease the travel spends and decrease the cost to access. So basically, which will enable the better patient's health outcome. Again, apologies for the PowerPoint not working, but I hope that gives you a quick perspective. Feel free to reach me out on the backstage or on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to share all the details and information with you. Dario, are we on time?
Thanks a lot for this very, very great presentation, Rahul.
Thank you so much. Thank you.